We're on. We're on TV.
Hi, I'd like to welcome everyone to the January Market Town Council meeting, and we will start, as always, with the pledge allegiance.
To the flag of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, in liberty and justice for all.
So the first item that we have on our agenda is for public comment, and if there's anyone from the public who wishes to speak, now would be the time. If you could just state your name and address.
Hi, I am Brendan Barnes of 82 Ladies Drive. I just wanted to, pose a question to the council. I do not expect it to be answered tonight, but it would be nice if it would be. There's been a lot of commotion regarding Superintendent Gibbons hiring, or maybe not hiring, but a reassignment of Principal Bozzoni into the position of school facilities manager or director, I cannot recall. However, it has been sort of clarified to us that this is in fact a town position. Now, we are just wondering, as far as we're concerned, this represents one of two things. Either it represents Superintendent Gibbons overstepping her boundaries in hiring to this position, or it represents a change in the duties of that position for it to be separated into its two component parts, town facilities manager and school facilities manager. We're just looking to find out which one that is. That's it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Is there anyone else from the public who wishes to speak? Oh, sorry.
Good evening. Zachary Dumont, 723 Bennett Way, Newmarket, New Hampshire. I'd like to thank the Town Council for allowing me to speak here tonight. I'd also like to take a moment to appreciate what it means to be able to stand before my colleagues and the citizens of Newmarket, for whom I've had the pleasure to serve for nearly 2 years. I've come before you tonight to not only execute the duties entrusted to me by our town charter, but to take what I can only describe as a significant leap forward in my mission to keep New Hampshire a wholesome and welcoming community to live. For too long, New Hampshire has felt the effects of misrepresentation within our federal government. As legislators and executive agencies create new laws and regulations, so too does it affect our ability to seek out our nation's three most important rights: the right to life, the right to liberty, and the right to the pursuit of happiness. Our state has suffered through an opioid crisis, seen our men and women of uniform killed in foreign wars, and a growing dependence upon an unchecked federal debt. New Hampshire has been and always will be a place for new ideas to prosper, a home for new families looking for a place to grow, and an economy worth investing in. But for this to continue, we need leadership willing to advocate for our values, from those who are willing to speak up for the average Granite Stater. And that is why I'm here tonight to announce that I, Zachary Stephen Dumont, am running for New Hampshire's 1st Congressional District to usher in a new era of representation for New Hampshire and to be the leader that the citizens of CD1 deserve. I thank you for your time, and I yield back.
Thank you. And good luck. I said thank you and good luck.
Thank you. I didn't sign one of those.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
No.
Seeing no other people at the podium, I'm going to close public comment at 7:05. The next item that we have before us is for the council to consider acceptance of minutes, and we have minutes from December 18th, 2019, and I would accept a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the December 18th, 2019 meeting.
Second.
Any discussion, any changes? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilor Finch. Aye. Councilor Sanders.
Aye.
Councilor Dumont.
Aye.
Councilor Kuiper.
Aye.
Councilor Cast.
Aye.
Councilor Burns.
Aye.
Councilor Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Can I just ask a quick question about the minutes?
Sure.
I was wondering if you had received any feedback from Patricia, because I know that I've tried to watch a few meetings recently, and, cause she hasn't
Yeah.
been here, and so I don't know if she's struggled with the
I haven't-
tape at all.
I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
But I mean, again, just remind people not to sit back,
I know.
sit towards the mic, project your voices. Council's pretty good at it, but sometimes when people are talking, you start doing like I'm doing, not talking at the mic, but talking to each other. Just remember to talk to the mic.
And downstairs sometimes I
Yes,
think
that's
it's a little
more difficult.
more challenging, so, great. The next item is, the town administrator's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A few things not in my written
Oh,
report.
did we follow the rule? We did.
Yes, yeah. Is, as everyone's maybe aware, that our parking experiment on Weaver's Row has stopped. Was approached by Chimberg Builders, and they requested that we no longer do that. We received a number of complaints from the businesses in that area that they did not like the one-way. So we basically lost 9 parking spaces due to that. I wish it was something different, but ultimately it's their we have the right of way over their property. It's frustrating. It was really frustrating. Usually we work very well with Chimberg Builders. Just sadly this time we did not, and I hope we could find some other solution to it. Next item is, I think anybody been hearing from our neighbor in Newfields. There's some issues with their solid waste. First thing is, if there's no objection, I have an agreement. Their contract to use our transfer station ran out on December 31st of last year, and we need to move on. It's the same deal. It's 5 years. They pay us beginning first year. They're going to pay us $6,600. It increases by either the CPI or 5%, whichever is less, for the next 5 years. It's what we've always done for them. It's just accepting their some of their waste. However, one thing we're working on with them is, as you may have seen, that they're going to stop accepting recyclables in Newfields due to their cost. I met with Selectman Sununu, who was representing the board. They asked if there's something we could help them with, and we've come to an agreement that what we'll do is residents of Newfields will be able to bring a traditional size bin. However, the town of Newmarket will charge them $5 to do that, to cover our costs. As everybody hears now, that recycling is now costing municipalities an exorbitant amount of money. We're not at the point yet to discuss stopping recycling, just because it's still the right thing to do. But they were asking for an alternative, and that if we could provide it. And we determined right now probably $5 a bin is the right price to charge them. What we're going to do is set up a punch card system. They can buy a punch card for $25. So they'll have 5 visits on that card. So we don't have to we don't accept cash at the transfer station. We're just writing that policy now, and it should be in place shortly. The next item is in my written report, and the council received a memorandum from me last Friday as it regards to the facilities director position in town. There were some misinterpretations and actually I would say confusion on what the position is and what's going on the town side. First and foremost, the facilities director position for the town of Newmarket is vacant. We did not hire anybody else. We're advertising and moving forward with that. After discussions with the school district, they probably should have used different terminology for the position that they're going to have. However, that individual is not an employee of the town of Newmarket. It's an employee of the Newmarket School District. We've agreed to go forward to try and hire a full-time shared facilities director. That individual will be a town employee. We haven't even advertised or posted that yet. I've met with the 2 chairs, the two vice chairs and the superintendent late Friday afternoon to discuss this and make sure that we're all on the same page. When I saw the release on Thursday morning, I was confused with it myself, and when one of our employees was mentioned as being replaced by this other individual, and that is not the situation. That the town was not involved in that at all. And I stand by the memorandum that the council and the SAU got from me. The next item on my written report is that the wastewater department submitted an application for a $75,000 loan grant to evaluate Newmarket's wastewater collection system. The department would have received a $75,000 loan that would have a 100% loan forgiveness at the completion of the project. However, we were ranked at number 8 on the project list, and we've been informed by DES that we only had enough funds to get to the top 7. As such, the proposed warrant article that we had has been withdrawn from the warrant, and we're not going to go forward with that this year. Another item that's not on my written report is that we received, the EPA issued a revised permit, nitrogen release permit for the wastewater plants around the Great Bay. We're, at the same time, our environmental legal counsel in December notified us of his retirement. So we're working with the town of Exeter to secure a new environmental legal counsel to review the permit. At this point, we don't believe it's in our favor. We just want to make sure some of the wording of that, and they're reviewing that now. We'll have more information for the council once we do that. As you're aware, the presidential primary will be held February 11th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Newmarket Elementary School. We will need 2 counselors to be present at all times and a majority that evening to certify the vote. I'll be sending out the sign-up sheet shortly. Just to remind, also, we're going to need individuals for the March town elections to certify the vote. And that next Wednesday, filing period begins for town council and all town offices. You can do that at the town clerk's office. And just to remind people that that's available, there's a list of the open offices online. And that's all I have tonight, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any,
Where's the button?
Counselor Cast?
I just wanted to circle back just on a couple more clarifications from the administrator or the chair, because I think you were at the meeting with the school as well. So we're not, at this time, it's understood that we're not ending the relationship to share a facility.
We are not. We are continuing. But back in December, when the facility director tendered his resignation, we met with the chair and the superintendent, and they indicated at that point in time we were continuing this relationship. We iterated that on Friday afternoon, that we're continuing with this relationship. I have given a job description draft to the superintendent to review and to suggest any revisions to that. However, again, in accordance with this agreement, the appointing authority is the town. So I would come forward to the council with a nomination with my appointment, and you'd either approve or disapprove of my appointment.
And regarding that relationship, previously I think we actually had a formal agreement that had expired near the end of the year, and that was why you were meeting at that time, correct?
No.
No? Okay.
No. That agreement's still in place. The
That
one that
agreement's still in effect.
that we didn't, we agreed to end was the finance director.
I'm sorry, I did misunderstand.
Yeah.
Okay, that was why I wanted to ask the questions. Okay, great. So we do actually have a formalization of the.
Oh yeah, there's a memorandum of understanding
Yeah.
between the 2 entities.
Okay.
And we met because the current, at the time, the current employee had given us notice.
Mhm.
So that was why we,
Got it. Thank you.
Counselor Dumont.
Yes. Actually, can I scratch that? I think Gretchen answered it, or have my question answered. Thank you.
Of course. Seeing no other comments, I have a bunch. Sorry. This is sort of a combination of from your report and from the department reports. So first of all, I just wanted we have a few long-term employees who are leaving, or relatively long-term. So Anna Viciano and Andy Sinwald from, I hope I didn't totally murder the last names, from the rec department are both both leaving, which was a coincidence that they were leaving at the same time. And Gary Davey, who works for the Department of Public Works, is leaving after 10 years of service to the town. So good luck to all three of those employees. I just wanted to make mention of that. I also wanted to mention the wastewater treatment numbers that were posted in that part of the department report are incredible. And I think I've said this at different times over the course of the year, but they were, the annual number was posted, and it represents an 86% reduction in the amount of nitrogen that Newmarket has put into Great Bay, so, or into the Lamprey. So it's outstanding and really exciting. I know that that's just one piece of, and it's actually a fairly small piece of the whole nitrogen load that is in our system, but and some of the other things we'll address. We have things like the fertilizer, and that's where the MS4 comes in. But I just so proud of our community for voting in favor of the wastewater treatment plant and really making a difference. So that's that. I wanted to just express my extreme disappointment at the parking situation. Every parking, we talk about parking, we've been talking about parking for as long as I've been on the council, and I think I used those parking spaces on a regular basis. I'm always downtown, and it's just disappointing that there were businesses in that area that didn't see the benefit. So I think that that's a shame. And who knows, maybe something can happen in the future. And then my other question was about the wastewater warrant article. So what will happen with that project? Like, will there be other funds somehow?
No,
or
we're gonna wait. We'll have to wait a year.
That was disappointing too.
Yeah,
So,
I know, to be like 8th, or when they're only taking 7. That's
I
Yeah.
just jump in and say, I'm sure it wasn't for lack of trying.
Right.
And excellent work, but it's like, oh, so close.
And just lastly with the recycling, I think that I think it's very neighborly for us to allow. I know that we already have whether is it an MOU or
Yeah.
contract with Newfields, and we have for a number of years. I have friends who live in Newfields who are incredibly upset at the idea of having to put their cans in glass and cardboard in the trash. They've recycled their entire lives, and it seems crazy to start throwing things out. So whether or not it gets utilized a lot, who knows? Because people obviously have to drive to the transfer station. So that'll be interesting if maybe we can get some feedback about that when it once it's put into place. And I think I never used to go to the dump or to the transfer station. It was not my job in my household. I still don't like to go, but I do because of the composting. And so I would say that my experience, I tend to know people, or they know me, but I think that maybe some additional oversight on that, because it would probably be really easy to just drive in and dump your recyclables without, because we don't have stickers, we're still very small townish, and I don't know, I think some sort of extra oversight would probably be helpful. Maybe even if the Newfields people got stickers, I don't know what that would look like, so that's my 2 cents. Councilor Cast, I put my glasses back on.
There were no other people who wanted to talk?
Nope.
Talking a lot, sorry. Are we on the department reports? Because I know we kind of.
Yeah, mine's rolled in with
Okay,
that. So.
all right. Well, I just wanted to note a couple things in the police department. just wanted to congratulate them on a couple of successful programs that seem to have gone really well. And also, we have a new officer who graduated from the police academy, Taylor Sheehan, Officer Sheehan. So congrats to him and welcome to the force. So, I did have a question about the issue with Ford Motor Company being able to provide our new vehicles. That was a little concerning. I didn't know if there was an update or.
I haven't heard anything new, no.
Okay. That was it.
Seeing no other, we can move on. And so, committee reports. Do we have any committee reports? Councilor Finch.
Just a brief update from the Conservation Commission. We met last Thursday, and we decided to join up with Pollinator Pathways, which is basically just to kind of get out the word about how to be smart with how you manage your yard and stuff to get more pathways for bees and butterflies and birds to help pollinate, because obviously numbers of those types of species are dwindling, so we need more pollinators to do more work. So this started in Kingston, and it's really just an awareness program. They're going to be hosting some events at the library, and our Conservation Commission is supporting, just promoting this idea of having ways to support pollinators in our region. So that's pretty much it for conservation.
Councilor Dumont.
Yes, just a quick update. Budget committee met on Monday. We discussed the school board budget. It was recommended by the budget committee, a vote of 9-3, and we'll go forward to the voters. There were also, I think there were 9 articles in total, 9 warrant articles in total that we're going forward. That's all.
I think it was 8-3.
8-3? My apologies. Yeah, there are 11 of us that were. Thank you.
Councilor Cast.
The subcommittee from the planning board to work on the water resources chapter is got a meeting scheduled for the 15th at 5 p.m. to proceed with working on the chapter.
And appears to be it. So we can move on to resolutions in the second reading, and the first resolution that we have is Resolution 2019-2020-18, which is to allow sports betting in the town of Newmarket, and I would accept a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2019-20-18, operation of sports betting in the town of Newmarket.
Second.
Yes, please.
So this will actually be placed on the ballot, and it's a majority vote. You have to have a public hearing not more than 30, not less than 15 days prior to the election, not prior to this vote to place it on there. So you'll be holding that public hearing sometime in February. This does not mean a sports betting facility be located in the town. They still need to apply with the Lottery Commission, and because there's only 10 site licenses being issued across the state for in-house sports betting. On December 30th, I believe that was the date, the state did activate their sports betting app. So there is sports betting going on in town. It's just on everyone's phone for people over the age of 18. That's it. So this is just giving the people the opportunity to say yes or no, will they allow it in Newmarket. But doesn't necessarily mean it will happen.
Thank you. Councilor Dumont.
Yes, I would just like to echo what the town administrator said. It's nice that we're able to have this go to the voters of Newmarket. I think it's helpful when we have the choice to be able to decide how we want our community to operate. Personally speaking, I would hope that the voters pass this. It seems fairly non-harmful for our community, and just opens up other potential avenues for to help raise revenues. So that's all.
Councilor Cast.
On the flip side, I just wanted to check. One, I understood from the last some earlier discussion in prior meetings that it's since there's only 10 facilities that are gonna be granted this, by the state, it's not really highly likely that Newmarket would be granted one. I mean, just, if you're gonna play the odds, probably not. So that led me to a follow-on question, which is when we put things on the ballot, is there a cost to the town to do each item?
No,
Okay, so it's
it's minimal.
moot as far as that
Yeah.
goes. Okay, so in that case, I agree with Councilor Dumont. Just wanted to check. Thank you.
Counselor Burns.
I just wanted to say that I think it's important that this does go out to the voters. A couple of years ago, I believe, we had Keno on the ballot, and the voters want these types of things on the ballot, and so I think it's important that we place it there.
Counselor Finch.
And I would echo those same sentiments too, that there's plenty of stuff that a local body or the state can regulate, but I think to allow voters to have their say, I think with Keno and with other things, I think it's reasonable to allow our voters to make decisions on certain items like this.
I have a procedural question.
Sure.
Why is it that we would have the public hearing after the,
State law.
because it seems sort of silly. I mean, we're gonna vote on it.
You're basically having a public hearing for the voters, not for whether or not you place it on the ballot. It's more the public hearing for them to get a chance to comment before deliberative session. And it's actually gonna be after deliberative session, so it's a second,
Oh,
it's not 30 days before deliberative session, it's 30 days before the vote. 15 to 30 days, so it's in February. Deliberative session is February 1st.
okay.
So, yeah.
All right, seeing no other comments, I'm gonna call the roll, please.
Counselor Finch.
Aye.
Counselor Sanders.
Aye.
Counselor Dumont.
Aye.
Counselor Kuiper.
Aye.
Counselor Cast.
Aye.
Counselor Burns.
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay. Next, we have, nominations and appointments, and just open it, sorry. The first that we have is, it's a nomination to the Conservation Commission as an alternate, and that's Ellen Snyder. I know Ellen's here in the audience, I don't know if you wanted to say anything, or?
You have to speak on mic.
Hello, Ellen Snyder, 26 Johnson Drive. I applied because I'm interested in being on the Conservation Commission. I do see that it expires 2020, so do I reapply after March?
Yes, you're filling a
Okay.
vacancy till.
Okay, so I'm doing it for a month, so
Yeah.
happy to do that.
And I'll just say before we call the roll that we're really lucky to have Ellen Snyder applying for this position. She's served on numerous boards, it says it on the application, but numerous boards, including the Budget Committee, the Conservation Commission, Open Space Commission, and the Planning Board. So with that, if you want to call the roll, please.
Counselor Finch.
Aye.
Counselor Sanders.
Aye.
Counselor Dumont.
Aye.
Counselor Kuiper.
Aye.
Counselor Cast.
Aye.
Counselor Burns.
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. And the next application is for Michael Provo, and that is to the Ad hoc Arts and Tourism Commission, and I would accept a motion to approve that application.
I'll make a motion to approve Michael Provo's application to the Art and Tourism Committee.
Second.
And I was happy to see this. I was a little nervous when he resigned from the other commission, and I didn't see him, actually, I didn't see the application, so, I don't see any other comments, so if you call the roll, please.
Counselor Finch.
Aye.
Counselor Sanders.
Aye.
Counselor Dumont.
Aye.
Counselor Kuiper.
Aye.
Counselor Cast.
Aye.
Counselor Burns.
Aye.
Counselor Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
There are still more positions on the Arts and Tourism Commission and on the Riverfront Commission,
Yes.
so, or committee, so, if people are interested, we could use the help. So, next next we have, resolutions and ordinances in the first reading. And the first that I have is Resolution 2019-2020-19, the Macallan Dam Construction Services. Whereas the taxpayers of the town of Newmarket approved a bond in March 2019 for the abutments and outlet structure rehabilitation construction project for the Macallan Dam, and whereas GZA Geo Environmental Inc. designed and engineered the Macallan Dam project with a request for proposals for construction services due on December 6th, 2019, with 3 submissions received, and now therefore be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the Newmarket Town Council authorizes the town administrator to enter into an agreement with Sumco Eco Contracting LLC of Peabody, Mass. For construction services for the Macallan Dam project in the amount of $1,831,182, with funding from the taxpayer-approved abutment and outlet structure rehabilitation bonded project. First reading January 15th, 2020. And the second item is ordinance number 2019-2020, and it's an ordinance amending Chapter 2 of the Code of the Town of Newmarket, New Hampshire, indemnifying local officials. The Town of Newmarket ordains, 1, the purpose. The purpose of this ordinance is to indemnify town employees and officials pursuant to NHRSA 31. And the amendment, Chapter 2, is hereby amended by adding the following article. Though you can't see it, the editor's note is deleted items are struck through, items added are bold, italicized, and underlined, and everything that I'm about to read is added. So it's Article 8, indemnification of town employees and officials. Section 2-218, indemnification of town employees and officials. The town council affirms this adoption of RSA 31:105 and indemnifies and holds harmless pursuant to this statute any person employed by the town, any member or officer of its governing board, administrative staff, or agencies, including but not limited to town councilors and all other officers, officials, trustees, and members of all other boards, commissions, and advisory bodies created or existing pursuant to statute, charter, or general law authority, from personal financial loss or expense, including all reasonable legal fees and costs arising out of any claim, demand, suit, or judgment by reason of negligence or other act resulting in accidental injury to a person or accidental damage to or destruction of property if the indemnified person at the time of the accident resulting in injury, damage, or destruction was acting within the scope of his employment or office. And number 3 takes effect. This ordinance shall take effect after passage and publication of notice as required by RSA 47:18. First reading, January 15th, 2020. And we will have
A public hearing,
Public
because
hearing.
we refer to public hearing on the next meeting.
Councilor Dumont.
Yes. Was actually, so this, I was trying to get you when we were going over the nominations and appointments.
sorry.
It's okay. Do we have a count of how many seats are left on those commissions?
Don't off the top of my head.
No problem.
I do want to say that on the arts committee, I feel like we've only
Only
filled
one
2
other person, yeah.
positions.
Okay.
So we've got a little ways to go. And there were,
I think they're both smaller, right? 3? Are they?
I think
General
that one
public?
was bigger, wasn't
I thought
it?
there
7.
were-
There's 7.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
So Mr. Prost was on the riverfront, but he resigned from it, so
Yeah.
there's one on that one.
That had 3 at large.
Yeah, 3 at large.
Riverfront,
3 at
yeah.
large, yeah. So 2 more.
And just a quick question about the Macallan Dam, and I know that we're gonna be talking about that, but can we get, even if it's just an executive summary of each of the bids? Cause that's not, there's a list,
Yep.
but that's all.
We can give you a
It's
copy of the
just-
bids.
Yeah.
Yep.
Councilor Counselor Sanders.
I just had a question with the 7 members for the arts and tourism. I know you had mentioned at the last meeting, Steve, that Amy would be a representation on that board. Amy from the rec center.
She's
be-
not on the board.
She's not on the, but
Employees cannot serve on boards.
okay, but she will be
Staff.
attending the meetings and things. Okay, I just want to clarify that that's not one of the 7.
No.
Okay, but mine is one of the 7.
You are correct. Yes.
Okay. So we need 4 more people.
And so the next item is correspondence to town council.
I receive none.
Counselor Dumont.
Yes. So I just wanted to touch, we had received a letter back on December 26th from Stacy Mazer, 5 Church Street. It was a letter regarding the Macallan Dam bidding process, the fact that we had received bids that were over $2 million. Now we have a lower bid for about $200,000 underneath the $2 million cap. Should I read the full letter or?
Like, fine. It's up to the council. It's not my call.
I have no objection if you want
Okay. Then I'll make it quick. Dear Chairwoman Weinstein and members of the Newmarket Town Council, after receiving no bids to its first request in the spring of 2019 to repair the Macallan Dam, the town was put out a new request for bids in October. Per town report, the town has received 3 bids back, all of them over the $2 million bonding authority. Also, per the report, the town will now try to lower the lowest bid number to meet the bond. The lowest is close to $200,000 over the bond. I am curious to hear more about what each of the 3 bids proposed and what these companies speculated in their bids to account for their figures and their final price tag. It would also give a clearer view of what the actual cost to repair the dam will be. Our community was reassured at the town meeting that the $2 million bond with a final price tag with interest of $3 million would be more than enough to cover repair, and that all of it might not be used. Even if the town is successful in reducing the bid, what would be the taxpayer impact and plan if there are unexpected costs? What sort of outcome will the town end up with after repairing a dam through cost cutting? Is it going to result in constant repairs over the next 50 plus years because it has been done with inferior materials? What will be cut or changed in the final bid to remove $200,000? I still question if asking the taxpayers to fund $3 million in repair is a decision that is fiscally and environmentally sound. What's the environmental impact after 50 plus more years of impoundment? Only 1,037 people voted to repair the dam in 2019 out of 7,980 registered voters and out of around 2,600 people that voted that day. The overwhelming support for repair isn't there. Studies show most people, after given all the facts, support removal. It's unfortunate that more wasn't done to address people's fears surrounding the removal of the Macallan Dam. We should not be repairing a head of tide dam. The negative environmental impacts of a head of tide dam are easily researched. The federal, state, and nonprofit funds exist to help with removal. It would be the cheaper option today and in the future to remove the Macallan Dam. 2 recent success stories in the news. The Columbia Dam in New Jersey was removed for $7 million. The Bloody Dam in Maryland was removed for $17 million. These were entirely paid for through outside funding. The environmental benefits at these locations are already being seen. I hope that the town council will fully discuss and present I hope that the town council will fully discuss the present and future fiscal and environmental cost of repair at the next meeting, the full results of the bid process, and the negotiated cost cutting done on the final bid. Thank you, Stacy Mazer, 5 Church Street, Apartment 5.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any closing comments by town councilors? Councilor Finch.
We have a date set for our 3rd conversation with the council. It will be Monday, February 24th at the library from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. And we'll post more information and share that more broadly, but that's 24th, February 24th.
And is the plan for that to focus around town meeting?
Yes, yep.
Any other comments? I just have one, and that is to reiterate that The filing period for all town elected positions starts on the 22nd of January. It runs for 10 days. And I definitely encourage people who are interested to file to run. Anyone over the age of 18, and a resident for, I believe it's 6 months.
Yeah. Unless they changed it recently, I thought it was only 1 year.
I feel like it's less than a year.
I have to double check.
So, a resident anyway.
Yeah.
And we'll get those details, but, so there aren't a lot of requirements, just a willingness to serve the community. I think that that's really the biggest responsibility and the biggest requirement. So, Councilor Dumont.
Bouncing off of Councilor Weinstein's comments, we had 2 successful write-in campaigns last year after nobody petitioned to be on the Newmarket Town Council. I do believe there are 3 spots opening up this year, so there are opportunities out there to serve your community.
Yeah, there are open seats on every board, and that's how, I know there's been some talk, just with some of the things happening in town, that's how every board has a rotating, group that is, so that, it's not a whole new board every year, because that would be chaotic. So not for the town, not for any of our boards, not for the town council, planning board, school board, so it's always just, 2 or 3, sometimes 1 at a time. So there are 3 seats that will be open on the council, and seats on every other board also, so. With that, seeing no other, counselors to speak, I'll consider us adjourned.